Okay, so I'm the captain of this expedition.
Yes,
I
you
have
are.
talked with my crew. We have an idea of where we want to begin and where we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have this crew wanted section. What is the purpose of that section?
Yeah, there's two parts. You could post this somewhere, right? It'd be fun. And maybe this is how you're going to get kids to sign up, or you've got a youth group and you've got, 70 kids, but you want to take 12 on this journey, right? Hey, I'm looking for this crew. So you can do that right off the bat. Or once you've got everybody there, this is a chance to say, okay, you signed up for this. Do you really know what you signed up for? And what's motivating you? And do you even really know what you're getting into? Right? And so we want to make sure that the crew is bought in.
Okay.
Right? And so that's what this section is about. Again, the website has a nice little bullet points of what we want in a crew member. It's got kind of a statement that you could read aloud together about it. But this is trying to get ownership.
Yeah. Every adventure begins with you meet in a tavern.
Yes.
And you're just... There you are. You're sitting there. 4 random people show up, and whatever the captain or the person giving the quest, they have to sell them on, are you ready to risk your life to pursue fame and fortune and glory and loot, whatever it might be?
There it is.
So this feels kind of like that you meet in a tavern, and now the captain is pitching you on why you should join the crew.
This is Thor and Oakenshield. I've got the key to the treasure. A dragon is sitting on a mountain of treasure. Let's go.
Yeah.
Actually, the movies had it where Gandalf and Thorin were in, the pub, right?
Yeah.
And it even harkens to Tolkien and Lewis, the Inklings group, right? They're kind of our flagship authors here. And they would meet in that tavern.
Yeah.
Right? And they would talk about their books and work together. And they were working together. It's the quest.
Yeah.
This is the journey. Excellent metaphor there. We're gonna lean in as hard as we can on these metaphors.
It's fun.
And let me even just go there, right? Because I think this is in the True Myth, right? This is my organization. We've got the map. Danny, would you take 7 or 8 people from your church down on a boat to the Caribbean because you knew you got the word on where an actual chest of treasure was? Diamonds, gold, artifacts. It's buried down there. Would you go?
I would drop everything and go. It sounds so fun.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a parable Jesus said.
Yeah, right. Well, and like
everything.
the reward, rewards that would be, wealth and valuable artifacts, to even lost wisdom, that would be incredibly valuable.
Yep. Yeah, the journey there would be great.
Yep.
The treasure would be great. The camaraderie would be great. What you can do with it, all that would be great, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is not an understatement, and I don't even want to go with the word metaphor here. I think this is reality. The treasure we are talking about is the best way to live on planet Earth. It's Jesus's way to live.
Yeah.
The treasure we are talking about is Jesus himself, following him closely, right?
Yeah.
There's a phrase called the dust of the rabbi. You're right up next to him. It's a lifestyle of abiding discipleship with a worldview that can handle it all. It's wisdom on how to navigate the really hard, painful things that happen on a journey, especially those quests you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every quest has hard stuff. Otherwise, we're not going to watch that movie. Right?
Otherwise,
we're not going to read that book.
Yeah, it's not an adventure.
And so I think let's make sure the crew knows what they're getting into. I mean, the Bible harkens to dying to self. Dying's not that much fun. And so are you willing to come with a learner's mind? Are you willing to give everything for this? Jesus called those early disciples away from their families, out on the road for 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's make that our minimum.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what is this going to take? What will you do to find the truth?
Yeah.
Seek and ye shall find.
Yeah.
And so this is about that seeking in solidarity, in a group, because groups are awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, that sounds a lot that sounds much more fun than just taking a class at a community college or something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Unless it's his class.
Do you want right? Well, that's what I mean. Do you want to sit down and go through a philosophy course where you sit and listen to an instructor prattle on about things, or do you want to go on an adventure to gain some of the most valuable content in the world, and not even so much the course being the answers, but the course being the journey.
Yeah, it's the journey.
Like that sounds way more fun.
Yeah, it's the
just
journey.
Another small group, another book. It just adds some life, some risk, some danger, some thrill back into our faith journey.
Yeah, and because the journey is the thing, Homer, right? And I've led adventure programming for years. The other aspect to this Crew Wanted is we want a crew that wants to be together, that wants to work together, right? Jesus says about the disciples, which if they're not there, if your group's not there now, well, it's the goal. They'll know we are following Jesus by our love, by the fruit of his Spirit, right? And so I call it kingdom fellowship. We want a crew that's willing to build kingdom fellowship. We're going to be honest, but we're going to be kind. We're going to respect each other's ideas. We're going to honor each other's families and journeys and even religions, right? I have so many teachers who are like, we have C.S. Lewis kind of as one of our core authors. And when I'm doing teacher training around the planet, right, we'll find, hey, who would love it to have C.S. Lewis as their one of their alumni? Come on. Yeah, he went to our church, or C.S. Lewis went to our school. Look, it's pictures on the wall over there. Basically from 5th grade, I think it is, around 5th grade, all the way through college into after college, he was a hardcore atheist. So if you would want him in your group, can your group handle someone who's on that type of a journey? Are we going to make it safe for everybody in the group? We're going to make it safe for the kid who's been pretending to be a Christian his whole life because of his family and his church and the culture and the school he's in, to finally admit, I don't know if I really believe this, but I want to figure it out. That's vulnerable. And so that's part of why I like the boat. You've been on the boat. It's tight. The boat don't lie. You can't hide. We're in this together. We're on the net. We're cooking together. We're talking together. And I think Jesus modeled that with the disciples. Like that's the idea that we want for this journey. Some of you might know about Ernest Shackleton and the endurance story. They made it. They all survived because of their personalities, because of their commitment, their loyalty, their willingness to trust their captain. It's powerful stuff.
Well, I love too, and how many adventures where the characters that are going on the adventure are not friends when they start, but they are friends by the end of the journey. So I feel like even if you're going through this with strangers, if you can have the unity of mindset of we're all in this together, and no matter how uncomfortable it gets, we're all after the same thing and we're going to look out for each other, then you may not begin as friends, but you may end as friends.
Well, disciples, right? But that's one of my favorite things. That's why Tolkien's part of this. It's Lewis, Tolkien, and Chesterton, Legolas and Gimli. They hated each other. And because they stopped fighting each other and started fighting the enemy, and then they worked together with a common goal, they're best friends at the end. Love it.
And the differences are just more ways to attack the same problem that they both are already invested in.
Let's work together. And let's also, I think that's another part of it, let's fight the real enemy. Right? Our battle's not against flesh and blood. On this worldview journey. The crew is not your enemy. Right? Now, I will say this. There is something to be said even now on this. As we look at Scripture, and we're talking about Proverbs, Proverbs talks about expelling the mocker. This is part of the Crew Wanted bit. If you're going to mock your way through this, probably not the best time to do this journey. Okay? And I would ask you, why are you mocking? Why are you mocking God? Why are you mocking Christians? Jesus invited everybody. Right? But the boat is not a safe place for mocking. So let's either deal with that before you go, right? Or at least agree to not do that while you're on the boat.
Because it kind of undermines the whole reason for being there,
right? The whole thing, right? There's another point where Jesus also, that's one of my favorite stories. Jesus is going to be bringing a young girl back to life, right? And so the disciples go to the house, the mourners are there, and he comes in, and the girl's dead. Jesus knows that she's dead, right? And he's like, oh, she's not dead. She's asleep. Because of Jesus's worldview, what's death?
Right.
A nap.
Yeah.
It's so great. You want this worldview.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
But the next verse says, and they laughed at him. And one of my favorite things is the next sentence. I want to watch this video when I get to heaven. The next sentence says, and they were removed from the house. Yep. And they were removed. Walk the plank. Yeah. Right? If you're going to laugh at Jesus, you're out.
Yeah.
And, and I think that's part of it is like, we've got to make it safe, right? Safe for everybody in the boat to be vulnerable, to share, to be on the journey, to make it authentic, but not safe to bully.
Yeah.
Not safe to mock. Not safe for racism or abuse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I know even relationally, because I mean, I've had experiences like that too, where it's a matter of saying, hey, we can't have that mockery present here, but I still want you here.
Yes.
So if you can come back and leave the mockery outside,
there it is.
Please come back.
Please.
But we cannot tolerate the mockery because it's going to undermine everything that we're trying to do here.
Yeah. And those things are choices that people are making. And if you can't choose that, how can we help you?
Yeah.
Maybe this worldview course will help you, but that can't happen on the boat, right? And so I think those healthy boundaries are really important. On the website, actually, there's a whole page on building kingdom fellowship. And it talks about safety and protection and about love and community and communication. It has all of that there to help make sure that the crew wanted is going to agree to build that fellowship, because that's one of the most important parts of the journey.
Yeah.
The friendships, the relationships, the mentoring. Think of Bilbo saying yes, and who did he get to meet?
Yeah,
right. Frodo. Right. He's hanging out with Aragorn the whole time, and Gandalf and Elrond and
conquerors,
all that stuff. Galadriel, he gets to meet her.
Legends.
Yes. And so that's part of the journey. That's why Tolkien calls it the fellowship of the ring.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what we're looking for, fellowship. That's the crew we want.
That's great. So crew wanted, hype up the crew, set a goal, and talk about the significance of the journey.
Yes.
And then getting buy-in from the crew to say, we are in this together. We are going to make it to the end, and we're all going to do it supporting one another along the way.
And there is a real destination of finding jewels, treasure, but then also becoming that. Becoming someone who is an ambassador for Jesus and confident yet humble and willing to share all of this stuff, sharing all that treasure.
Yeah.
So there is a real destination, which itself is a journey.
Yeah. That's good. That's great. All right, game on. Let's go.
Let's go.
I think as you're part of your crew on this little journey here, I'm hyped. Let's go. Let's go see some islands.
All right.